Welcome back after a short break here. Continuing live from Tel Aviv here now on i24 News. And we're staying with the subject here of the apparent Israel-Syria rapprochement taking place in the region here, being aided by many regional countries as well as the United States. And we still have with us Dr. Joel Parker from the Moshe Dayan Center. So thanks for staying with us. Look, I was touching on the U.S. involvement here, but it's been pretty concrete. I mean, we had U.S. Ambassador Tom Barak heaping praise on Syria this week and warning at the same time Lebanon to get on board, or in really historic terms that he used, risk being left behind. So all the signs of real traction here. I mean, I feel like for a guy like a serious ambassador like Barak to be talking this way about Syria, it must be a reflection of, real discussions, real traction taking place.
Yes, thank you, David. Yes, it's. I think there's a lot of movement happening right now. I think that the diplomatic side of things are actually very, very positive. The U.S. has a lot of channels of, excuse me, has several channels of communication with Turkey. Azerbaijan, of course, as we can see now with Baku, is also has become itself a channel of communication. But Lebanon is a bit stuck on the sidelines right now, and they're watching Syria, at least diplomatically, taking steps forward. I think that each country has its own internal problems right now. That's something we have to keep in mind, that even if the U.S. Is definitely pushing the ball forward, which it is, Syria is facing a number of challenges right now, as is Lebanon. But Syria, just is has just contained 10 days of extreme fires in Latakia, in the coastal province. And it's facing unrest in various parts of the country, just because the government hasn't fully gelled together its security forces. So I think that we're seeing a lot of balls kind of rolling at the same time, one of which is the diplomatic sphere. And that is where we see room for optimism. And the U.S. is certainly playing a very helpful role.
All this sounds like a country really in need of international support and help and funding and all this, and friendly neighbors, i.e. in Israel. Look, major changes in the region. Look, Israel's removal of Hezbollah from the battlefield really ushered in the ability for this post-Assad era in Syria. And recently as well, now I would argue the depleted, you could argue morally bankrupt Iran on one side of this equation, and Gulf monarchies in the U.S.-backed Israel now on the other. Is this a real fork in the road for the leaders in Damascus?
Yes, I mean, I think that Ahmad al-Shara is definitely has made a choice that he's going towards the Gulf states like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and of course, Turkey is there as well. But I think one thing about Damascus we have to always understand is they don't want to be under the thumb of any one country. It's one of the things that no country does, actually. But they're definitely going towards the Western sphere, if you want to call it that, including Saudi Arabia, which has very strong dialogue with the United States. And Turkey, which is a NATO member. So, they're in the kind of the gravity is towards the West, not towards Iran. And that's a good thing for us, yeah. I think, because Israel is in that same boat, essentially. But it's not clear exactly to what extent Syria will be able to avoid any foreign interference, because Syria is a country with an enormous border with Iraq. And as we know, Iraq is under quite heavy influence from Iran, and Lebanon still has remnants of influence. It's not free from Iranian influence altogether. It's gone down, but it's not zero, and so that could also affect Syria. There are still remnants of the Assad regime that are disgruntled and exist. They don't have very much power, but they could potentially be.
Well, Dr. Joel Parker again from Moshe Dayan Center, thanks for being with us.